Resuming Weird World Order broadcast. Phones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, it's all about the...
Booyah, what's up? It's your boy Joe, back at it again, baby.
And sitting in on his screen, we have the Jordash, the Jinkos. No, we have the generic Jeans. Andres, the expert of anime today, Jeans. How's it going, Jeans?
It's going good, Duke.
Awesome. Good to have you on board the broadcast today. And to my other right, coming straight out of Krakoa, weighing in at 178 adamantium-filled pounds, Alfonso X-Man Flores.
Oh, my stars and garters.
Alfonso has used all my stars and garters before, but ladies, gentlemen, and knights, let me tell you, his stars and garters are very, very messed up right now because probably getting this podcast on the air today has taken longer than the podcast will actually be going. But that's okay, ladies, gentlemen, and knights, because we are going to be talking to you about Anime Expo 2022. We are coming live and direct from Nerd World Order headquarters for today's episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. Most of us spent all day at Anime Expo. And so let's get into it. For those of you who went to Anime Expo, let's start it off with you, Jeans. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being had a great time, 1 being not so great. How'd you enjoy Anime Expo today?
From 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 8. Mainly because, there's all these lines and you have to deal with all that.
That sounds good. And 8's not bad. I think 8 would be great. Let's turn it over to your boy, Joe. Joe, scale of 1 to 10, how'd you like Anime Expo?
Anime Expo is pretty good. It's like the best anime convention center there is out here. That's why people fly out here. It's pretty good. Crowded. It's hella crowded. It's hella hot. People don't know where they're walking. That gets kind of annoying. And the one thing I found annoying, if you're going to go with your girlfriend and you're going to be holding hands, both of you can't be looking in the opposite direction when I'm trying to walk myself in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
So I do know what you're saying. So if I were to ask you again, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being meh, 10 being answering the question, where would you put yourself? Scale of 1 to 10. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I'd say I like it. I'd give it a 10.
Oh, dang, a 10. Perfect 10. Wow, that's like the Selma Hayek of conventions, apparently, for Joe. So that's pretty dope. Alfonso, you didn't go to Anime Expo, but I'm sure if you did, you would have given it a 10 because you are our shining ray of positivity. Me? We'll get into it. Let's just say somewhere between 1 and a 5. 5 being, well, everything Joe pointed out is accurate, and I wouldn't give it a 10. Yeah, let's say I give it a 5. But let's get into why. We're going to do things a little bit different here today because, as some of you know, most of you know, the Nerd World Order are regular attendees of the San Diego Comic-Con. I've been going there for let's say, 60 plus years. And Joe's been going a lot too. And Alfonso has been a regular attendee. But this is my first year at Anime Expo. So in a lot of cases, we want to compare and contrast to Anime Expo and San Diego Comic-Con because that's my frame of reference. And also, we want Jeans because he's a new convention attendee. He's not used to all the lines. And even though for me, I've been standing in the lines for 60 years, I had a birthday standing in line one time. It took so long. So things are a little bit different. So you've got the veteran comic book attendees, and you've got the new blood comic or convention attendees. So I think Jeans is going to give us a great perspective today. Why do we call him Jeans? You'll just have to stick around and find out, and maybe you never will. So let's start off looking at the convention. As far as, I'll be honest with y'all, it's like my screen is buffering, so I'm just talking. Joe could be holding up his hand saying like, dude, shut up. I wouldn't know because I am in full buffer mode right now. I can't see anything. But that being said, I'll go ahead and turn over to you guys. Let's start off with how easy it was to get to the convention. As far as stuff like, getting tickets, getting a hotel room, the parking, the shuttles, everything like that. Let's go with Joe first of all. What was your overall getting here experience?
Getting the tickets is pretty easy. It's easier than San Diego Comic-Con. I think because we just barely got our San Diego Comic-Cons maybe a week ago, maybe a week or two ago. The Anime Expo tickets are pretty easy to get. As it gets closer to the venue, it gets very difficult to get the tickets, but you have more than enough time to get them. I mean, that's not a problem. Getting tickets here is not a problem at all. Hotel situation is not that bad. It's pretty easy. I like the accessibility of the shuttles to and from the Anime Expo. I thought that was pretty dope. You don't have to wait as long for the shuttles, because I remember San Diego Comic-Con, you'd have to wait for a little while. Anime Expo, it seems like the shuttles go around pretty fast. I think because of the hotel is close to the venue, but it's pretty easy. It's not that hard compared to San Diego, I think, in my opinion.
And Jeans, what's your thoughts as far as, this being a newer convention for you? What's your thoughts on how easy it was to get tickets, hotel room, everything like that?
Well, tickets were relatively easy. On their Anime Expo's Instagram, they just show a link, and they'll just direct you towards where to get the badges. So badges are really easy. As for the hotel, I'm with Joe right now, obviously. So it was pretty easy. And for the shuttles, they're pretty frequent. So like nothing to complain there. Like they get you there pretty easy, and
as most people know, trying to get tickets for San Diego Comic-Con is like this epic ordeal. You need to, in some cases, set up high-speed internet and engage in additional technical things in order to ensure that you get on. Seems like it's pretty easy with Anime Pasadena. The only reason I got a link was because Joe's like, hey, you need to go to this convention. Click on this link and buy yourself some tickets. So, and even then, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I didn't have trouble getting any tickets. But, X-Man, you've got an interesting perspective because you haven't seen Anime Pasadena. So why don't you tell us about your experience getting Comic-Con tickets in the past and sort of contrast that to what the gentlemen have said here today. How hard has it been for you to get Comic-Con tickets?
Next to near impossible. I have been to Comic-Con quite a bit. Luckily, I have been very blessed with the friends in my life, and I know a few professionals, so there have been the majority of the times I've never paid or had to purchase Comic-Con tickets. I had to do it one time, and my boy Devlin Batmite, he went and got tickets for us, paid him back. It was super simple. I don't know about the lottery and all that. It looks ridiculous. I did go to Anime Expo at 2018. Took my daughter Emma. She dressed up as Toga. It was a good time. We had a blast. So, but we only went on Sundays, so tickets were super easy to get.
Well, if I had to compare and contrast, even though during our conversation I'm not going to have a lot of good things to say about Anime Expo, I do have to say that the ticket buying process was very easy. I think that as far as the shuttle seemed very convenient. I have to say that I ran into a bit of a challenge because even though I'd already purchased my ticket and gotten my badge, as I approached the front door, I was informed by Joe that I still had to activate my badge. And Anime Expo, I don't understand why. You already have my money. My credit card went through, So suddenly, why do you need me to jump through an additional hoop? Okay. And then you have slow email. So I was standing outside in the hot sun for like an additional 30 minutes waiting for my high speed internet to connect. And it was just completely ridiculous. You have my money. You sent me my badge. There's no reason for you to make me jump through an additional hoop. That was really the only challenge that I had. The shuttle was cool. Getting here was cool. Even parking was easy. I couldn't park at the hotel, so I had to, find a spot, and that was easy, like super easy. It was inexpensive. When you go to Comic-Con, they try to gouge you for parking, like, oh, $50 a day to park your car next to some homeless people and some vagrants. It's like, okay, this was easy. Now, granted, you do get the same decor in Los Angeles, but it's only $10 to have someone pee on your tires. That's my general thought there. Anything else you guys want to add about getting here? How'd it feel?
Yeah, let's rewind that a bit, bro. First off, you got a Samsung One, and that's probably why it took you 30 to 45 minutes to get the email. 2, you get the badges a long time ahead of the venue. As soon as you open it up, it tells you to activate the badge. So it's no inconvenience if you would have activated the badge prior to you coming over here. And if you just would go to Sprint and just get another phone, that would help as well.
There's nothing wrong with my phone. My phone works great, as some of you can see. Look, that's an excellent phone. And I'm tired of Joe telling me that just because my phone is older than both of our kids, that I need a new phone. The kids work great, and so does my phone. So I'm not getting a new phone. That being said, I've never had to jump through that additional hoop for San Diego Comic-Con or any other convention I've ever been to. So I say boo on you, Anime Expo.
Boo on your Samsung One phone. That's why we use my phone to take pictures, which is an iPhone.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. Over there in LA, do they have like those, like electronic scooters you can rent?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because that's what I did last Comic-Con. I parked way as close as I could to where I didn't have to pay. Right, found a nice parking spot on the street. I rented one of those little things. I just went right over. It's time of my life, man. It was great. Then I met up with you guys.
See, there you go. And Alfonso probably still had to pay a good $50 to park really far away from San Diego Comic-Con. So Anime Expo is winning on that one, definitely. Let's talk about the exhibit hall for Anime Expo. You know what? I'm going to let Joe start this one off. Joe, what did you think about the exhibit hall and the entertainment area for Anime Expo?
Their exhibit hall is pretty good. The only thing bad about it is if you don't show up pretty early on a Friday, a lot of the stuff that does look good that you want to get gets sold out. And that's the challenging part, is to find the stuff that you want. If you're not there when it opens up on a Friday, everything sells out fast. But, I mean, what do you think, James? Did you get the stuff you wanted to get?
Yeah, I got the stuff I wanted. I feel like if you look around, around the exhibition, you could find what you want for a pretty good deal and not overpay for what you're buying.
What'd you pick up?
Well, for me, I picked up an autograph and a couple of Killua Yo-Yo Funko Pops.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How long did you have to wait? Because I know Anime Pasadena, which, Amanda said she was at, the lines was pretty bad, especially because my nephew Anthony was in line. Like, remember, Alan, that one Sunday was like freaking all day. How was the lines trying to get signatures to the Anime Expo?
For me, I waited in one line, but it wasn't too bad.
How long do you think?
About 15, 20 minutes.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. Hey, Joe, is there anyone else in that room who may have made purchases today? I just want to know what they got.
Yes. So, my nephew Anthony's going to tell you what he got.
And won't you tell us about what you picked up today at Anime Expo?
Yeah, so we got a bunch of Funko Pops. I got a 20th anniversary Naruto store or Naruto skateboard from the, I think it's Viz store, Viz booth over there. It's pretty cool. And then what else we got? Got some Ghost from the Past Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Surprised they had those. They don't got those at Target anymore. It's nice to see.
Nice.
Then I got a Nobito mask from Naruto for like $20. It's like really cheap. They had cosplay costumes on lock this year. It's pretty cool. Like if you didn't have any costume, you could just go in and get one and then come cosplay tomorrow if you wanted.
So overall, you think it was a pretty easy shopping experience in the exhibit hall?
Yeah, for the most part, when it wasn't like packed, like after lunch, like 12, 1 o'clock, and then as soon as it opened.
Cool. Thanks for jumping on, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, let me say this. Amanda, tell Bella to calm down. Anthony is taken.
Sorry.
I didn't buy anything in the exhibit hall. And it was, well, see, here's the challenge. I love anime, and I was sort of coming to a realization today, and that is we need genes on this show because we're old school anime nerds, right? Yeah, I love me some Dragon Ball Z. I know that Amanda's daughter hates Dragon Ball Z, but she loves some Naruto, and younger anime fans love some Naruto. My favorite characters from My Hero Academia, they're not those bratty kids that I get tired of seeing because they put themselves in preposterous situations and for some reason seem to power up just enough to solve the problem at the end of every season. I like All Might. I like Mirko. I like the older adult characters who've passed puberty. And you know what? Those characters just aren't popular because the primary audience at Anime Expo, at anime in general, is in fact our boy Jeans, not Dukes. But still, yeah, I've laid down my money, but I couldn't find anything I wanted to buy. The exhibit hall was hot. Okay, I got a big nasty sweat stain on my shirt because it was so hot in there. Joe brought a towel in from work so he could periodically wipe himself down because it was so hot in there. It was crowded, and clearly they oversold the event. Clearly. And
actually, they didn't oversell it because it usually fits 50,000, so they only sold 30,000 this year, so it's 20,000 less.
Which brings up an interesting point, Joe. Why did it seem so crowded then? Here's why. Because they didn't provide enough dispersed things for people to do. As you saw, and I'll post pictures later, you had people sitting on the floor like, they were getting ready to like do something, like go somewhere or something, but they were all just sitting around. That, without a doubt, was the most crowded venue because it was not well managed and it was not well thought out. So even though I might be about to kiss some butt, even though some people may complain about Anime Pasadena, some people may complain about Anime Riverside, they encourage people to go outside and do stuff. They dispersed all their activities throughout the entire convention center so that even though the capacity may claim to be 50,000, that 30,000 people felt like they were all in the same room with no air conditioner on. And it was completely ridiculous. So if I have to compare it to my 60 plus years of Comic-Con adventuring, that was one of the first things that really bothered me. Hot and crowded. I could care less if I couldn't find any All Might stuff or any Goku stuff or any Mirko stuff because I can't find that stuff anywhere. But I shouldn't have to walk around looking all sweaty, looking like I stole something, even though there was nothing for me to steal that I even wanted, because these folks couldn't manage their own venue. Alfonso, is there anything positive you'd like to say to deflect my rant?
So, did they not have like panels or something? I mean, that's one good thing about San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, they got something going on everywhere, and it's packed everywhere. But it's not all in one place. So were they not doing panels?
Well, Joe, let's jump into those panels. Let's get started. Let's get the party started on the panels. Wait, there was no party.
I mean, there's panels there, but it's stuff that Dukes doesn't like care too much for. It's more focused on anime stuff, which I can see why Dukes doesn't like Anime Expo, because if you're into all kinds of anime, you're gonna like it. And it's just what people go to anime convention, it's what they do. They lay down, they chill in the front, take pictures, they just talk about stuff. It's just hanging out. That's what people do at anime cons. It's not your typical Comic Con. It's different. Comic Con has different things, different varieties of activities that you can go to or do. Where Anime Expo is just fixated on anime. So if you're not all about anime, this will not be for you. You can't half anime and expect to be happy with it. Which Alan is not as hardcore into anime as we are, so therefore his view is going to be different than, say, Alfie, if you go there because you watch and you're into anime a lot more than Alan is. So like if someone's into anime, I know my nephews and my son picked up a lot of stuff because that's what they do. They watch anime. To Alan's point, it's a younger generation, but the older ones still like it. I enjoy it. I'm going to pick up some more stuff tomorrow, but fortunately I'm so old, my body breaks down on me. So I kind of just walk around and look and see which I'm going to like, and I'm going to come back and try to get it tomorrow or Monday. But yeah, to Alan's point, like it's a different type of con. If you're not about the anime life, then you just don't get it. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna turn it over to Skinny Jeans. Skinny Jeans, tell me about the panels you went to over the past 2 days.
Well, to be honest, I haven't gone to any panels like to the convention, so I really don't have a comment there.
Yeah, perhaps the challenge is that the demographic that would normally go to an anime convention, even though if you will recall, when we went to, shout out to Nerdbot Anime Pasadena, their panels were packed, right? Yeah. So maybe it's not necessarily the fact that Generation Jeans doesn't want to go to panels, but the panels themselves weren't compelling enough.
Then again, the panel that we did sit on, the people that they had on a panel didn't know the difference between DBZ and Naruto. And the dude that was arguing for DBZ didn't know what he was talking about. And the whole time the panel was just texting my son how bad these guys were. So you can fill up the panels as much as you want, but if they're not going to be any good, it doesn't matter. It's just a number.
Well, at the end of the day, I would say this. If that filled room relocates or disperses people from needing to sit on stairs, which happen to be a fire hazard, or lay on the floor in the center of a convention, or sit in groups in front of fire exits, or sit on the floor, incredibly uncomfortable. If we redisperse those people and allow them to sit in like what are actually known as chairs, whether or not the panel sucked, and the panel sucked because you're right, that dude didn't know anything about no DBZ, and he was a horrible, horrible representation of a DBZ fan. Like, I wish Dino Mac would have just grabbed that mic and said, nah, let me handle this. I wish Joe would have just pushed that dude aside at Anime Pasadena and said, look, you're making us all look bad. And that goes in 2 different ways, if you know what I'm saying. So I really wish someone would have just pushed that guy off the stage. That being said, at least we weren't all sitting trying to fight for a space on the floor. That's all I'm saying.
We found plenty of spaces on the stairs. I mean, I still had a place to go sit. What you have to realize, Alfie, is it's 30,000 to 50,000 every year. So obviously, not that many people feel as passionate as our boy Dukes over here about whether or not it's a hazard over there in a corner and a fire is going to break through, because 30 to 50,000 are going to be back again next year.
I like how Dukes is all, this is not for me, it's for the younger generation, them kids. And then there was a fire hazard. Get off my lawn.
Yeah, dude. What's that movie with like what was it? Jeez, dude. Clint Eastwood. Remember when he was sitting on his porch? That's Dukes. Hey, get off my lawn. Hey, why are you speeding through here? It's only 25 miles per hour. Come on, man.
Gran Torino.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so what about the Artist Alley? How'd that look? I mean, they have an
Ah.
Artist Alley at these. I know they have them at all cons. I mean,
Gosh,
they have
don't get Duke
some good-
started on that one.
What?
You know, Jeans, did you attend Artist Alley?
Yes, I did.
Why didn't you
Yeah.
tell us about how much you loved Artist Alley? And I'll just like hold in my anger until you get done.
I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't really packed compared to other halls. So yeah, it's easy getting there. It's just the basement. You know, it's as hot as the other rooms, but you know, more room to walk. So yeah, and they had some pretty great art over there and pins, stickers. Yeah.
James, do not get distracted about Duke's expressions. If you like it, you like it. It's okay to say you like it. Like, what did you like about it, bro?
Hey man, I love the pins over there.
Okay, you picked up pins?
My friend did actually. Yeah, he picked up a couple of corgi ones. You know,
Ah, nice.
a couple of dogs.
A couple of dogs?
Yeah, a couple of dog pins, and a couple of bear pins.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know why Dukes is not smaller? Because he couldn't find any rabbit pins. Because that's all he likes is rabbits. And unfortunately, AnimeCon does not have rabbits.
Well, that's a travesty.
Okay, Joe's wrong. Joe has to admit Joe tried to convince me to buy a $40 rabbit shirt. And then after he tried to convince me, he goes, "Yeah, that don't even look good."
Hey, some of those look good though. It didn't even look like a rabbit. You thought it was a cat.
No, the rabbit shirt with the girl. There was the girl wearing the mask. As a rabbit mask.
Oh,
Yeah, and after you tried to convince me to spend the $40, you're like, "Man, I don't even like that."
Well, I don't care too much for rabbits, anyways, bro.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah, I don't care. No Baskerville rabbits.
So, Amanda, you say panda pins are the best. They didn't have any panda pins either.
What?
Yeah,
Actually,
no
they
panda
They
pins.
did?
Yeah.
Gene said he saw some panda pins.
Gene said, "Oh, really, Jeans? Maybe Jeans can pick some up for Amanda tomorrow." A biggest fan of the Nerd World Order broadcast. See how you just walk yourself right into trouble, Jeans?
He's like, nah, they got no panda.
They got no panda pins. Sorry,
Hey,
Amanda.
if he can squat in them jeans, then he can get them panda pins.
Yeah, the Artist Alley. So let me ask you, Alfonso, what do you like about going to Artist Alley at your conventions?
Well, I have some friends that usually work on the Artist Alley. They've got 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people that I know. So it's really cool to see them, the work that they're doing. But then again, I get to see like these X-Men amalgamations with like Pikachu or whatever. I bought Emma last time a Storm and Pikachu thing, and just some of these new up and coming artists, you never know. You may be talking to somebody who's going to be the next Todd McFarlane. You don't know. So you find the stuff that you gravitate towards, and you make a connection with them. You can have them on Nerd World Order broadcast sometimes. That worked out well for us. And Marcus was great. He wasn't there at Anime Expo. Not his thing.
No, it's not his thing.
Understandable.
Joe, what was your thoughts on the Artist Alley?
Artist Alley is dope because they have it's basically like, when we go to Comic-Con, there's like a small little section for Artist Alley, Alfie. Just imagine the whole LA Comic-Con convention, the basement is just full of people, selling pins, different type of art, not comics, but just art and in general and different stuff that's pretty good. The thing about it is it's kind of tough because with anime, it's like it looks similar when you look at it.
Right.
And so me and Duke was talking about this. So you'll see a different variant version. And that's the one that people always tend to go to because it looks different.
Right.
Because no matter how good the art is, people will walk by it. It's dope. But what's different about the Comic-Con is you have a certain group of people when they're trying to pass people.
Right.
And so if one person's trying to cut and go past, there's a bunch of people following him, so the line keeps moving.
Right.
With Artist Alley, it gets so packed, people stand in the middle just looking at art instead of like going close. There'd be like maybe 3 feet, and they won't go close to the art to look at it. They'll stand in the middle. And so we were like a dead stop, like 10, 15 different times, not moving at all. And so we decided to like kind of like, bust the ludicrous and, move, get out my way kind of stuff. And then, yeah, I've seen a few times like, Alan was like shoulder bucking some like tiny people. But I don't do that. But yeah, Dukes was doing that, trying to clear the path. I'm not known to do that. but it did get really hot, and it kind of like tricked you because I was telling Dukes how hot it was gonna get, and we walk into the very right side of it, and AC's blasting.
Oh, nice.
And we're like, "Oh, this feels good." I'm all, well, maybe I'm wrong. Walk down, all the way down to the hall, make a left, go straight up the thing. All of a sudden, then you start to feel the heat, and it got super hot, and we were like hella sweating, bro. Sweating, bro. I think it was like me and Dukes was the only one sweating.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. I appreciate the positivity that you guys present when describing the Artist Alley. It was in the basement, okay? And I understand you got to put something in the basement. Why not put the artists in there? It barely felt like an Artist Alley in my opinion, because one of the things that Alfonso talked about is that when you go to Artist Alley, you get to interact with the artists, find out about their craft, their trade, why they love what they do. Dude, this was a swap meet. And what I mean by that is it was just like you were all crammed in and you're bouncing into people, and there's no opportunity to talk to the artist and find out why they decided to have this variation on this character or, anything like that. First of all the art looked exactly the same. There was no interaction with the artist because it was so crowded that there was no time to talk to the artist. And it was almost like you were being herded. And if you tried to step out of line, it was like you kept getting bumped, even while you tried to make a purchase or something like that. So that was not a good experience. And yeah, it was hot. It's like, oh, Alan complained about the exhibit hall. Well, I got something for his ass. Go downstairs to the basement and go to Artist Alley. Because, my God, it was so hot in Artist Alley. Like just nonstop sweating. Nonstop, and maybe me and Joe were the only two people sweating, man. But the day before I had hit the sauna at the gym, and this is no hyperbole, I sweat more walking through that Artist Alley than I did 45 minutes in the sauna at the 24-hour fitness on Foothill in Upland, California. Shout out to Upland, snobby, snooty ass Upland. So nothing good that I can say about the Artist Alley. The artists were mediocre. Everything looked the same, and you couldn't tell what exactly it was in their project. It was super crowded, and one of the things that Joe talked about is for some reason, people thought that Artist Alley meant, hey, let's hold hands with our girlfriends and boyfriends. And so even though it was the most crowded part of the venue, you kept running into people because they were holding hands and creating human barricades and human centipedes. It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you know what, guys? I there's plenty more I can say, but as you can clearly tell, Artist Alley was pure garbage.
Well, now that you're done hating on it, Jeans, what do you think about Artist Alley?
In my opinion, it was great. For what you said about everything looking the same, I don't think it all looked the same. I think it's just the characters you saw. Like, sure, it could be repetitive to see the same character, but also it takes a different art form. People love those characters, and you'll just see it over and over again just because they love them, but you'll always see it in a art form.
Well said. Just like, like every time I go to the comic convention, right? Dukes likes to buy, I don't even know his name, these rabbit little things that he gets all the time. And to me, like to your point, it does look the same. But he buys these new rabbits, and I'm like, it looks the same, bro. He's like, no, it's different. This time he has a bow tie. So whatever Alan thinks about those rabbits, 30 other thousand fans are in RS Alley thinking the same thing about those things that you tend to think is boring and they're not that good.
Are we referring to the skull bunnies?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. I've been buying skull bunnies for like 15 years, bro. And every year, my boy steps up his game, and the skull bunnies just evolve. They went from being just little pink bunnies with a skull on their head to now they're like in Star Wars regalia, and they're superheroes, and now they're living in the big city. Those skull bunnies, man, they came up. The evolution of skull bunnies, you can't even compare that to the maids, the same maid at every other booth that you saw at Artist Alley. That maid, bro. Who was that maid?
Maids everywhere, bro. Dude, I came home like, son, what's the anime with the maid? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, dang, bro, if you don't know, I'm never gonna know. Well, yeah, everyone is wearing maid's outfits. It was so hot, I wanted to tell the maid, can you give me a nice cold wet towel? Yeah, matter of fact, can you give me some water?
I'm gonna need some extra towels.
Matter of fact, can you clear the way for me?
I'm gonna need that turn down service.
No, but Jinko Jeans does bring up a really good point, which is what Alfonso? Why you gotta laugh? It's my man's name.
Jinko Jeans.
If you got a last name, you gotta have a first name. Jinko Jeans.
Why can't they be Sergio Valente?
Jinko Jeans.
By the way, Valente is my middle name.
Clearly, Jeans is not French. But he does bring up a good point, which is, if you're really into a particular character, people do create variations on that character, which you may like. One of the things that Alfonso talked about is the amalgamation of characters. I saw Iron Pinky out there, who I follow on Instagram, and he does a lot of anime stuff. And even though I did get trampled trying to look at his stuff for about 30 seconds, I thought it was really cool to see people like him, taking the traditional, like, let's say DBZ or MHA or something of that nature. That might be the only two animes I know, which explains my nerd rage right now. It's cool to see all the variations that people do come up with, so I definitely do appreciate that. And that's an excellent point there, Sergio Valente Jeans.
Hey, the one I went to, there was like this whole video game station downstairs where people could come and play all the different games. They game together. There was they had all these photo ops. They made all these renditions. Like there was a high school classroom, right, where people can sit at a desk and the teacher can sit up front. There was none of that.
You know what? Jeans is about to drop the mic on us, dude. You might as well just slide the mic over to Jeans because first of all, if you'd like 3 tokens for $10, Jeans is your boy. Jeans, this is all you, bro. Take it.
Yeah, for me in the round 1 area, people were just abandoning mid-game, mainly because some of the audio on the machines weren't working. So yeah, I got to play rounds without spending any tokens.
So what you're saying is that even the game section wasn't working correctly. Stop it, Jeans. You're not supposed to be on my side.
The games are probably getting overheated.
So did you guys check out the photo op area?
I didn't know.
Okay, Jeans. Now I have to say those photo op areas were hot fire, dude. I was impressed by that. They were like miniature sets, and if I was a cosplayer of mediocre status, which I'll get into shortly, referring to the folks here at Anime Expo, I would have loved those sets. I would have stood in line for like the 25, 35 minutes that they did in order to take pictures in these sets. Those sets were freaking phenomenal. The best that I've ever seen in any convention. Joe, what do you think, my bro?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, shoot, if there was no line, bro, I would have done some TikToks up in there. That's how the scenery was just nice, man. the coloring. They had probably had like maybe 8 different sections. I want
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
but long lines there. I mean, there were some cosplayers in there that were in line. Dude, they had one outfit with like a classroom, dude.
Yeah.
Another one was from like Demon Slayer. Another one was like in a forest, from what I remember, all green. The scenery is very nice. Like I said, if the line wasn't that packed, dude, I totally did a TikTok up in there. That's how good it was in there. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we went, I'm sorry, when we went, Emma was dressed up as somebody from Danganronpa. And I don't know if you guys see Danganronpa, but it's just like a bunch of high school students trapped in in school and fighting. So there was so many different cosplayers there. They just started herding themselves together. And next thing you know, like, we're going down there, we're taking pictures. So I got some really decent pictures of her, in the classroom. She's like yelling, everybody's, like fighting. And then there was what was the other one? The locker room. There was a big locker room fight. There was an apocalyptic world. It came out really good. We had some good pictures there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Alfonso, because that is definitely something I was impressed by. I love that, and I actually thought when I was there that it'll be nice if perhaps San Diego Comic-Con can take a little piece of that. So that was an excellent point. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's talk about the signings. We know that last time Anthony stood in line for a very long, very, very long time in order to get an autograph. And, signings are really big for some folks. We've all taken the opportunity to get pictures with celebrities and get signings and stuff like that. I'm going to turn it over to our boy, Jordash Jeans. What did you feel? How did you feel about the signings? Do you think it was pretty easy compared to other cons you've been to?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty easy. Since there's plenty to do at the convention, I feel like it'd be much easier to get the autographs. So yeah,
nice.
It's not that long of a wait, and it's always great to meet the voice actor you've always wanted to meet.
That's pretty cool. So let me ask you a question, Jeans, because this is something that's never really come across my cerebral area at any time, where I thought to myself, I want to meet the person who voices the guy who actually like on a show, and I'm willing to pay to get his autograph. What is it about meeting the voice of, let's say, Naruto that compels you?
Well, it's mainly because if you've seen that voice actor first, or they made the most impact on you, it's always great to meet the person, that helped either change your perspective or just get you through hard times. So yeah, I always think it's to meet those kind of people and thank them.
Dude, that's actually really impressive, and I cannot argue with that in any way, because even if it's not voice actors, there are some, I'll say, entertainers that have impacted me, and I know exactly how you feel, and that's very intelligently put. I appreciate that, man.
Hey, so like my son's gonna tell you the difference of an English actor and a Japanese actor, which one signature would mean more to someone that actually watched animation.
Okay, first of all, this kid was born disagreeing with me. His dad has trained him for years to disagree with everything I have to say. So take everything that you hear from him as a well-crafted argument that he's been preparing for years to give. Damn. Go ahead.
Okay, well, all I know is that whenever you look at a dub and a sub, whenever they're doing signatures and stuff, it's worth more when it comes from a subbed actor, because the emotion they put into it. It's like they use the same English voice actors for every single character on every dubbed anime ever. And it's like, if it's Piccolo and then All Might from My Hero, it's like hard to differentiate that character because of the fact that it's the same voice actor and they don't use a different voice. And it's like hard to differ. I just can't tell the difference between them.
Facts.
And then not only that, I just feel like the emotion that the dubs put into the anime just doesn't sound real to me most of the time, because I don't know if they're inexperienced or what, or if it's because they get paid not as much as a Japanese voice actor, but it just doesn't hit as hard for me when it comes to those voice actors. That's just my opinion, though. Yeah.
Because isn't Piccolo the same voice as All Might in the dub?
Yeah, and he's the same as Zoro too. So that's 3 big animes that
Yeah.
you see him in, and he's an awesome voice actor. But if you're voicing those characters in every single anime, it's like I just can't tell them apart. If I close my eyes and then you give me a voice line from one of those animes, I want to be able to tell you which anime it's from. And then I feel like the question you were asking Andres, like, why is it so important to meet someone who voiced one of your characters? Is because like if they're not a good voice actor and you meet them, it's like whatever. But if they're a good voice actor, you can really get the emotion behind it. And then when you meet them, it's like it just feels weird. Because I know that Anthony waited in line 8 hours to hear the Naruto voice actor. And when he was finally up there and he met her, he was just speechless. Like he forgot what he was gonna say to her. It just hits different.
And then when they add the quotes too, right?
Yeah, and then the quotes too. It's like hard to choose a quote because all those quotes hit home. And I feel like you wouldn't be able to get in touch with that character if they didn't put that emotion behind that character in their voice acting. Like you don't see them, but you hear them, and they kind of make the character who they are. And I feel like that's why Shad Shamel, Christopher Savat, even though they're English voice actors, since they do it so well, it's like awesome every time you hear their voice talk whenever they're using the character.
Booyah. Booyah, fool. Dropping that mic, little homie.
Dude, that was years of planning. He had been writing that down. He's like, okay, dad. What? I know Dukes don't like no sub stuff. I know he don't like to read. So when can I light him up? Joe said, I'm freaking gonna come into the Anime Expo. He's gonna hate it, but you're gonna light his ass up.
He was in the background. My palms are sweaty.
Oh, dude. He was ready, bro.
Joe was slipping him notes too. You guys didn't see Joe slipping him notes and say, Slay, and it's the same actor for Piccolo as it is for your crappy All Might character. He's like clearly in his 50s on that show, and no one can relate to. Dude, that's very well put, man, because, like at the end of the day, the best comparison I can have to that is, I really like Chris Evans as an actor, and I'm willing to go see him and stuff simply based on the fact that he's done well in other stuff. And, it's about the emotion and the connection and everything like that. So, you do have an excellent point. And I never looked at it that way because I'm looking at it based on what I'm seeing on the screen. But to your point, if you change the actor or actress who gives us that performance, you change completely what we're experiencing. I understand that a lot of times the sub actors probably do lose their voice based on their passionate delivery of a show. But hey, bring up an excellent point. I'll let both James and Little Joe win this round, dude. I'll let you guys take that one. Alfonso, can you say anything positive so I stop feeling bad about myself right now?
So sadly, I watch dubbed as well because I'm just a man of a certain age. It's tough. It's tough because it's like, I'm trying to read the screen. I'm trying to see the art. I like to appreciate the art. I don't want to watch things twice. And, I understand English. It's sad. I know it's pathetic. My daughter gives me crap about it all the time, too. It's like I was watching Squid Games, and I was about 4 episodes in, and she's like, wow, you're watching it in the original language? I go, yeah, that's the only way you could do it. She goes, no, there's a button right here on Netflix. And I'm like, where were you? And plus, I like that.
It's funny because Dukes will watch something in English and have English subtitles. It blows my mind.
I always have subtitles because I have a 6-year-old who pops in the room and goes, I'm going to get you today, Transformer Megatron. And I'm like, wait, what did it say? So I'm always just constantly, everything is always on subtitles in my house because you never know. He's like, I have the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos. he's
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. And Joe, sometimes you got to pretend you're listening to your kids when you're really not. It's a lot easier if you have subtitles. So that's pretty much what that is.
It's like, Dad, subbed is better than
Now my kids all watch subs, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. That's
Even my
that home
nephews.
training, dude.
Respect.
That's that home training. Yeah. So no, Gene, so you actually watch dubs and you'd like to make a counter argument from one compared to the one that took like 20 years in formulation and coaching from his dad?
I was going to say, I watch both. Like, certain animes, like Joe Jr. said, that certain voices have certain impacts. So in dubs, they can have a stronger impact than their sub version. And as, sub versus dub, different impacts, man.
Let me get my son again.
The observations are pretty solid, and I can't disagree with that. It's the delivery ultimately. It's kind of like 75% of what makes up the character is based on the voice, and even though some people may not like the dubs, like when I hear All Might, I'm like, dude, I know that when I hear like I am here, I believe that, exactly. But no, Alfonso, you will not be taking anyone's place with that delivery. But still, I feel like when I hear that voice, I believe that All Might can save the day, or like when I hear Goku, I kind of know that Vegeta is a much better example. When you hear Vegeta, you know that he is just arrogant and he feels like he can win any battle, even if he can't. And if you take away that voice, you take away what makes Vegeta, at least in a dubbed perspective. I can't speak to subs, but in a dub perspective, I totally get what you guys mean. So I get that.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from when you say I am here when Piccolo says it.
Hey, dudes, earlier you were talking about like the cosplay being weak. Tell me about that, man.
Okay, I'll just be the first to run this down, and Joe and the supporters of Joe can go ahead and write down everything I have to say and be ready to counter what I have to say. That was possibly the laziest cosplays I've ever seen. Like I saw one guy who, first of all, let me say this, okay? If your cosplay is just a hat, because that's the best thing you can do, where you feel like that's a great cosplay, then shut up, Alan Dukes. That's the best I could do, okay? And I love my cosplay. But you mean to tell me in a room full of 30,000 sweaty, laying on the floor, sitting on the floor people, y'all couldn't step your cosplay game up at all? Showing up in your digital printed onesie spandexes, and you think that's the best you can do? Or showing up in your inferior mech compared to what we see at conventions where people have full cosplays and they have props and everything like that, and they're walking on stilts and they have rigs. And I saw one dude, maybe he had just purchased the gun that was supposed to go with the cosplay for tomorrow, I don't know, but he was looking like Jeans over here, just walking around in some skinnies and just was holding a gun. I'm like, damn, is that Jeans? I don't know. I walked in the hotel room and I was like, Jeans, what happened to the gun? Because people were doing some half-ass cosplays the whole time, especially with all those good sets. Step up your game, people. They were horrible cosplays. But go ahead. Gentlemen, feel free to tell me why I'm right. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll jump in on this one.
Okay. What? By the way, was that you with the gun in them jeans?
No, sir.
Walking
No,
around?
Sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So, during times like this, it's kind of hard to get fundings for, cosplays and stuff. So I don't think it was, due to halfness, but, to what people can get right now. budget wise, and it's a group of like 30,000 people. So it's a pretty supportive community. If you don't hear people screaming like you're doing this wrong, or people are going to see it as cool, and they're there to hear those voices, because people only have so many limited resources to make them.
Exactly. And okay, to add on to his point, I think that's a hot take, by the way. I think like all the half-ass cosplays that you probably saw, those people probably maybe didn't even come in anything, and then saw that they had some at the shops, and maybe they wouldn't be like a cosplayer or something, but because it's there and because they might have some money, like maybe they can like have like that weapon that character uses instead of having that whole outfit, because they can't get it and it's there. But I also feel like there were super good cosplays like everywhere, from like all over the place, that were really well done, really accurate. But like, you have to understand, with more than like 30,000 people, there are gonna be a ton of like good cosplays, but there are also gonna be a ton of half-ass cosplays too. So it's like you can't get too mad.
I think you bring up an interesting point, which is there are going to be some good cosplays out of 30,000, and there are going to be some less than impressive cosplays. I'm more impressed with the folks who have less than impressive cosplays, because you get it. They're not really into cosplay. Maybe they're on a budget, to Jeans' point. Those aren't the folks that irritated me to the point where I have to call them out on their foolishness. It's those people who felt like they were elevating the game and they were doing a great job. But if you compare what I've seen before, people that I know personally, it's like, bro, you're supposed to be representing the anime community. You're supposed to be representing your fandom. Okay. And there was nobody in that entire convention, IMO, that compared to what I've seen at other conventions. No one was at the same level that I've seen before, and that's pathetic.
I don't know, man. That's a hot take. You play League of Legends? You know how many jinxes I saw today, bro? And like, out of all the jinxes, right, I saw like at least 3 of them that were like really, really good, like spot on. Jinx, Caitlyn, Vi, like that could be on point with what the people at Comic-Con are bringing.
And then, not to mention, we didn't walk in the middle of the. As soon as you come in, that's where all the cosplayers hang out, and they're taking photographs. We didn't see them. Granted, we walked by and looked, and you see the spandex that you're talking about, but that's all anime is, dude. Short, skimpy spandex, bro. You know what I mean? That's what anime characters are about.
Compared to back then, characters aren't as flashy as they used to be. They're more detailed, try to be more down to earth. So, of course, you're going to see, less detail with some people, but they would be trying.
And they'll tell you they're trying, and they'll be like super open with taking a photo if you like or enjoy their cosplay at all. They don't have to have the whole thing.
Okay, this is going to be my final word on cosplay, and then I'm just going to shut my mouth. I'm not going to say another word.
That's it.
As I walked around the Anime Expo today, I kept thinking to myself, that's lazy cosplay. And that's my final word.
Dude, the people that you saw walking around with the hats, dude, for some reason, did you guys notice like there was a lot more Ace cosplay?
Ace?
I saw like a bunch of people wearing hats, like Ace cosplays. And that's what you're referring to with the people wearing the hats walking around. But Ace is from One Piece. I know you don't watch that.
Yes, but of course I know who Ace is. However, not hold on, dude, hold on. I said that's my final word. You're not going to bait me. Try to get me back in this argument, bro. Whether or not I know who Ace is, you're not going to get me. I know Anthony's getting all fired up.
I'll just say they were selling those hats at one of the booths. I'll just say.
I get one more word out of him. I want him to hear him say, "You lazy."
And to relate to those people who can't cosplay, remember I got that Toby mask earlier today, and I had nothing. So at least tomorrow, I'll have a mask, but I'm not gonna have that robe. $65. Got to get the robe next time. But
don't let Duke see you in the mask. Fool's gonna be like, nah, it's always like mask everywhere. It's an orange mask with one eye you can see it. Gosh, it's just one eye everywhere. The cosplay, they need to step up their level. Gosh, dang.
To these conventions, mainly, because it's this acceptance, and it's somewhere we could just relax and,
enjoy each other.
Yeah, enjoy each other.
Okay. I'm going to let you guys have that before we move on to community. Alfonso has something to say, and it's going to be positive.
I was just giving them 1 point.
Oh.
2 points, actually.
2 points.
So, I think we can, I just like the final thing I'd like to talk about related to Anime Expo is just the community. And as you guys can see, I felt like there was a disconnect between myself and the overall Anime Expo community. I just gone to Anime Riverside a few weeks previously, and I kind of like the community there. I felt like the community here, boom, it just occurred to me the problem. It was an LA community, and I'm sorry to all of our Los Angeles listeners, but y'all take yourselves too seriously. Okay. And I felt like the folks at this convention, I pointed out like the art was mediocre and the cosplay was mediocre, and they didn't have the common decency to run the air conditioner, right? But everyone walked around like, oh my gosh, look at me, I'm so great, right? And people were bumping into people, and people were like rude. And I did hear some people say like, oh my God, I like your cosplay. And I'm like, that person's just wearing a stupid mask with a hole in one eye, right? So, but overall,
dude, blasphemy, bro. Hey, next year, bro, on Anime Expo Instagram page, it's gonna be a picture of Duke. We do not want you back in this mug.
but overall, overall, I think the biggest disconnect for me was just I didn't feel like there was, you guys were talking about like unity and acceptance and everything like that, but I tell me if I'm wrong, but it really feels like there was no connection. There was like everyone was kind of walking around doing their own thing, and people look too highly upon themselves and their lazy cosplays. Yes, I use that phrase again, but it doesn't count as lazy writing, so you can't take a shot. Yeah, I just felt like there was no community, there was no unity. Where I have to say, like Anime Riverside, and I don't want to keep going back to that, but that's the most recent one. It just felt a lot more fun. Even when Anthony had to stand in line for like 12 hours, it still felt more fun, and it felt like there was more camaraderie than I saw at this convention. So I might be wrong, might be completely wrong because I was hot and grouchy, but that's my thought. I'll let you guys take it from here.
Yeah, you're wrong. Alfie, there's much people. There was like groups of like 6 to 8 people that are walking around. I mean, there was like a bunch of crowds together within their own little section walking around.
Yeah.
People still had fun. And let's not forget, like, you may call them crappy cosplay, but remember, they're cosplaying. And there was a time where like people cosplay with what they can afford, just like my nephew was saying. So they might not have the money to do a cosplay, but at least they're out there trying to do a cosplay for their own self to make them feel good. So like, yeah, it's not spectacular, but hey, not everyone can be a spectacular cosplayer. Not everyone can afford it. Not everybody's good at putting stuff together. However, so like my other nephew said, Ant, is when they're walking around, you could see they make it easy for someone to cosplay their character now. So you don't have to buy the expensive stuff. You can make it look thin material. It's cheaper. You can walk around. You can actually cosplay your favorite character. To them, it's pretty good. Needless to say, what my counterpart says it's cheap cosplay. But for them, someone that can afford it and someone that can wear it and be their character, for them, it's an emotional for them to be who they want to be and who they love as a character, whether it's cheap or not.
The one thing you want to keep in mind too, that hey, nice cosplay, that is somebody's meet cute. Those people probably got married.
Maybe
down the line. That's going to be somebody's story. When your grandmother and I met, we were at the anime expos. We had to get this guy out of the way who's being super negative, but I told her nice cosplay.
I met this one guy. He really hated Anime Expo, but he sure loved Anime Pasadena. And I met him, and we go to Anime Pasadena every year for anniversary.
Joe, you're right, and I have to agree with you. As much as I felt like perhaps people walked around thinking far too highly of themselves, I give props to anyone who puts their cosplay together and feels good about themselves, and they only have $5 to spend on a Ace Frehley hat. That's cool, dude, if they want to do that. So I agree with you 100% on that, even though I'm coming across as a complete jabroni. I never want to make someone feel like their cosplay is inferior based on their budget. It's more about their heart. But that being said, if you got the budget, bro, which I know out of 30,000 people in Los Angeles, someone had that budget, them trust fund babies, y'all should have stepped your game up. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, my nephew's going to look pretty dope in that little one-eye green mask, homie. You know what I'm saying? He's got a little orange sweater to match. Let's go.
Number one, Jeans, thank you for sitting through this roller coaster ride. That is this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. But boy, thank you for jumping in there. I know that's like what your dad had been training you your entire life for, was to shoot down old man Dukes. So I respect it, bro, because you came with some fire, bro, some passionate fire. And Anthony, you were just you laid down some excellent points, bro, and I really appreciate it, man. So thank you to the three of you. But as I stated previously, I'm an old school anime nerd. I don't know much about current anime unless Joe tells me about it. So, Jeans, can you tell us what you're currently watching, what you're enjoying on anime? You take as much time as you want, bro. I want to hear about what I should be watching on anime and why.
An anime of the elite for Tavis now, because it's about characters outthinking each other and just try to be at the top. And the main character is try to stay average the whole time while trying to bring his classmates to the top. He doesn't really want to be standing out, but he still wants to help the people around him. So that's kind of the reason why I watch that.
Nice. So what else what are you going to recommend for me to watch and stop being a grumpy old?
There's this one I watched recently. It's about a hero who's actually switched sides from being, a hero to working with the Demon Lord. So it's about him.
What's it called?
Shoot.
Yeah, Dukes, let me recommend you an anime, and I don't know the name of it.
That's the one with the guy and he's got the hair.
Yeah. So there's this guy, and he's in this corner, right? And that corner is kind of dark, and there's a light to my right.
Rebuild the kingdom, he kind of wrecked. So the Demon Lord won't let him join, but her royal elite guards, snuck him in so he could help rebuild their kingdom.
And we don't know the name of that show.
I've seen a lot.
Okay, Google.
It's kind of hard to remember.
Okay, Google. Pull up the show about the king who was trying to do some stuff and then other things happened.
But he's good, and I guess he's trying to be bad.
Okay, any other recommendations out there?
There's also Seraph of the End. That one I actually remember. So, it's about a story about how all the adults died from a virus. So, after a couple days, vampires start coming out and kidnap the kids. and start using them as cattle. So there's all these orphans, and they try to escape the kingdom the vampires are taking them in. Every single one of them dies, except the main character. So it's basically COVID, but with vampires.
I believe Bella, who's possibly our favorite anime fan, which is Amanda's daughter, reminds us that the name of that show is Promise Neverland. And she enjoys it. She says it's a great show. So that's 2 votes for Promise Neverland, even though apparently, thanks a lot, Jeans, I am likely to die within the first 5 minutes of this show. But thank you. Thank you. I'm going to enjoy watching that. And that is why I'm a grumpy old man. Thanks, Jeans. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Let's see. Any other shows you'd like to talk about where I die?
He's like, Jeans, go ahead and tell me why Anime Expo is not that good. Tell me about some of your animes.
Have you tried Hellsing? Everyone basically dies there, man.
No, I haven't seen that one either. So,
you spoiled it again.
It's not a spoiler.
Yeah, I know.
It's legitimately
James, your new nickname is now Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Anyone that's not a main
Dude, his new name's Tom Holland. Bro, you're Tom Holland, bro.
James walked in and said, I'm the Tom Hollands of this podcast.
Yeah,
y'all.
dude. He's a Tom Holland of anime. Let me just tell you what it's about. He doesn't give you the sympathy, he gives you the whole thing. Let me tell you what it's about and how it ends.
Thank you to Jeans, whose real name is Andres. Thank you very much for coming on. As well as Anthony and Baboy. Thank you, all 3 of you, for coming on. I think the 3 of you have helped make this one of the most enjoyable broadcasts that I personally have had in a while, and I believe it or not, as much as I have to express a little disappointment in Anime Expo and their lack of air conditioning, I feel like the 5 of you have definitely given me a lot more perspective and a lot more things that I look at. And I think that if I were to go to Anime Expo next year, now knowing that basically it's going to be hella hot and crowded, I think I'd enjoy it a lot more, especially with the perspective that you guys have brought. So, Joe and Alfonso, is there anything else you'd like to add to this broadcast before we kick a hole in the speaker, pull the plug, and then jet?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend Promise Neverland, Demon Slayer, Hunter x Hunter, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I didn't quite finish all of JoJo's because it got a little too bizarre for me, but like the first 3-4 seasons I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And those are always fun cosplays to see. Danganronpa, it was I think it was based off a video game that came out for PSP, PS4 or something. That was a lot of fun, but that's about all I got for this newer generation stuff because thanks to my daughter Emma bringing me into all those.
Yeah, don't forget My Hero.
Yeah.
You also got like Black Clover is pretty good. And One Piece is getting pretty good.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds Redefined.